Chelsea Crew here. Welcome to the Chelsea Crew Show. Today is on Monster 20. Monster 12, 2021. Hold on just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, I have some problems. I'm going to have to hold on for a second. About but things just went off. Okay. Hold on just a second. Okay, that's better. And we're live, everybody. Chelsea Crew here. Today's March the 12th, 2021. It's on a Friday. And yeah. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen, and we got to get to it. We got to get down some business. We gotta have to. Last night, President Joe Biden had made an announcement last night. He made an announcement last night that things can end up getting back to normal, and that's just what has happened. This is what's going on. As you might say, Joe Biden for yesterday. Well, here's what he said about the speech. It says, now let's take a look what went down and what went down right now. Now, last night at the press conference, at the address, he addressed people and says President Joe Biden marked a year since the COVID-19 pandemic swept across the country with his first primetime address. I say it again, President Joe Biden marked a year since the COVID-19 pandemic swept across the country with his first primetime address, and speaks in which he meets hard numbers of vaccine discriminations on our plotters, unity, and deep-seated belief in the power of America to overcome any challenge. My takeaways from Biden's speech ran just over 20 minutes or below. There ain't no other orders than the order that jotting them down with watching the speech. Now here it is on number one. Number one, Donald Trump dug the hole. Biden didn't mention his predecessor by name, but especially in the early moments of his speech, it was very clear that the current president lays much of the blame for the country's struggles with the coronavirus pandemic at the feet of the last president. A year ago, we were hit with a virus that was met with silence and spread unchecked. Denials for days, weeks, then months. Biden said at one point that lead to more deaths, more infections, more stress, and more loneliness. And at another point, Biden poured out his mask and expressing amazement that it had been turned into some pathetic statement. Now, number two, the return of empathy. Biden made a single gesture in the speech that this administration, the expresses he operated with vest the lives lost to this pandemic. He pulled a card out of his jacket pocket. He said he keeps with him wherever he goes, and we're off the shouted up-to-date numbers of the Americans who had died from the coronavirus. That number is more than 527,000. Yes, of course, Biden did that for the matter, in fact, but it worked, and it drove him home the idea that this is a little who keeps those who had died from the pandemic close to his heart. Liberty. It also provides a not so stupid contrast with Trump's over other public figures of the virus and those who succeeded. Three, at war with the virus in the language he chooses, and the announcement he made, Biden clearly wants to make Americans understand that we are at war with COVID-19. He said the country was on war footing. He noted that COVID-19 had now killed more Americans than World War One, World War Two, and the Vietnam War combined. Even in quotations, farewells and arms. Many are strong in the broken places. Biden was invoking others' high rationing and is novel about War One. The message was clear. This isn't an enemy like in the U.S. It's lose to battle, but it is an enemy nonetheless. Names for the sacrifice and unity is as great as it was when the Americans was fighting their Axis powers. Four, troop medals again. Being number one, Trump wasn't monitored by name in their speech. He was all over it. He was all over it. We know what we need to do to beat this virus. Tell the truth, following the signage, work together. As Biden said at one point at the Richard Rebuke to Trump's rejection of facts and sciences about the coronavirus during the course of the 2020 campaign. You're on nothing less than the truth. Biden said at another point, and even while sounding the most obstinate about return to number, water on that below, Biden was open and transparent that things can go sideways, that volumes of the virus are out there, and that if people or property medical the practice without following, we could be in for another surge. Nah, he goes again. Number five, UNITY. UNITY. In the most remarkable moment of the night, the President of the United States stared into the camera's line and told the American people, I need you. Then he said again, I need you. Called it the most multiple and unsearchable appeal in primetime presidential speech making. Time and time again in the speech, Biden talked about the power of the we in overcoming COVID-19. He talked about the need to find a common proposal. He said that beating this virus is getting back to normal. Depends on nominal national unity. And that I need every American to do that part. The idea of Americans coming together to do this stood in stark contrast to the Trump presidency, in which the 45th president thought of the coronavirus the main organization to raise their supplies and with divide. That's representing our community, economy. This is the United States of America, and there's nothing we can't do when we do it together, Biden said in the closing moments of his speech. Six, Circle July the 4th. That will be on Sunday on July 4th. July is just about 4 months away. Now, Biden said that by Independence Day, there's a good chance you'll be able to get together and have a cookout or a barbecue in your backyard. Never did hanging out in my backyard with a few friends on a likely sweeter summer day in DC Sun Belt. As NBC's Craig Marvin noted, well, since July 4th, Independence Day takes on new meaning. It's a marker now. That's excited, right? July 4th is now the day, or another day, around the day, where the country will begin to return to something lessons of normally. At least according to Bonnie, now he needs to make good on this the plays on or have the day hung around his neck like a pillowcase knocker. Trying to ridiculous play that we would start to return to number on Easter Sunday 2020. On Easter Sunday, Donald Trump knows about it, and he doesn't know about the science, and he ain't listening. He not paying attention about the science. That's what Donald Trump is. And last year, he know that Easter Sunday, that all that had he was wants all the business to reopen on Easter Sunday. That was almost last year, right? But he had a lot of people get killed by the virus and all that kind of stuff. They're always knowing about wearing their mask. Although I see a lot of people don't wear the mask. That's what it is. That's what he said. Okay. 7. Hope is a good thing. Maybe the best of things. That line. Spoken by Annie DeForest, Tom Robertson, to Red Free Morgan in the shower with dancing. Keep popping it into my head throughout the speech, Biden speech. Maybe it's because Sean's Hawk was trending on Twitter around the same time Biden spoke. Biden lose his speech. Yes, to details the losses we have suffered in several resident and collaboratively from COVID-19, but he also pointed towards a hopeful future that was within our grasp just as long as we could work, continue to work together. There is hope and light and better days ahead. Biden said near in the end of the address, and the remains that popped into my mind was Red walking on the beach and seven as Andy was on his boat. What a beautiful moment. So last night he made the speech, a 20-minute speech. It was great. He said we were going back to normal on July the 4th, had a cookout and sometimes doing something like this. He said that we will beat the virus to return to normal, maybe on July or in the fall. That's what it matters. Now, here's what he said about Joe Biden. Here's what he said for this. Now, many Americans want to forget about former President Donald Trump, but President Joe Biden won't let them. In nearly every sentiment of the new president's first primetime address to the nation Thursday night, and uncensored Trump loomed in the background. Biden cast the fight against coronavirus as one in which Americans will emerge from the darkness into the light under his leadership that is rooted in the same theme Biden used to offer himself as an alternative to Trump when he accepts the Democrat Party's nomination for president last summer. Trump has clocked an American in darkness for much too long, Biden said now. I will be an ally of the lightness, not the dark. So that's what he said, and Trump never did anything about it. He's doing everything he can to just everything. And that's what Joe Biden said. Trump is living in the dark, and that's why he was too busy. And I mean, but I know he was too busy. Donald Trump was too busy. He didn't know what to do, but he didn't listen, and he let them die for real. It's all happened about this before, about a year ago, when the pandemic just hit, and then nothing they can say about it for real. Stunning, stunning, and that's how things are not things are not looking good in 2020. That was last year. And then they have to elect Joe Biden as president. So it is what it is. So now this goes on and on. This goes on and on, but we don't want to talk about Trump anymore. Let Joe Biden do his thing. That's for real. So I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know what's this is going to happen, but we'll let you know this. We're going to do this once and for all. So we'll see what happens. You know, this is going to be about something else that everybody's going to be waiting for. Everybody's going to be waiting for as the days go by now. And here it is on May the 1st. May the 1st, here's what Joe Biden's going to do. He's going to tell all the those. Now, here's what they're going to do. President Joe Biden on yesterday, announced last night, announcing that all adults in the U.S. will be able for the COVID-19 vaccine on May the 1st. All adult Americans will be able to get a vaccine no later than May the 1st. Biden said that's much earlier than Saturday. Biden clarified that adults won't all be able to get a vaccine right away, but they will be at least be able to get in line. Even then, he said the country will have enough vaccine supplies for all adults by the end of May, including he's made before. It's a goal that, as Biden said, he was seen unfeasible just a couple of months ago, but there's a good reason to believe it's actually possible now. As of last night, the U.S. has given at least one dose of the vaccine to 64 million people, with 33 million people fully vaccinated, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Currently, the U.S. is administering roughly 2.2 million doses of the vaccine a day. Even if that rate doesn't improve at all, the U.S. could fully vaccinate around 130 million to 140 million Americans by May the 1st. That's more than half of the nearly 360 million adults in the U.S. today. So even before Biden's promised date, the majority of adults in America could be vaccinated. There's also a very good reason to think that rate will go up by the end of the month this month. For the casual companies have indicated that they produce and ship more than 3 million vaccines a day. If states measures to turn those studies into shots and arms as they get them, the U.S. could vaccinate around 150 million to 160 million Americans before May, roughly two-thirds of the U.S. adults. And the rate of vaccination could easily rise above that as supplies continues to increase in the coming months and in the coming month and a half. In other words, Biden's promise to cut in at the time that only one third of U.S. adults will still need to get vaccinated, but the country is likely delivering shots at a rate of 3 million doses a day, if not more. At that point, the math simply fits. The remaining 100 million adults or so Americans who really could be covered over the span of the month. The only asterisk, if it all goes well, will be making an appointment. Now, that's not to say the U.S. is destined to do all this work without any trouble. Maybe the drug companies won't be able to deliver on the supplies that promise. Maybe cities, states, and the feds won't clear all the local hundreds to get shots and arms. Maybe something else will break in a fairly complicated supply chain. So, and as the supply increases, it's like a vaccination and hesitate will become a bigger issue, and as more adults simply refuse to vaccine, overcoming that to continue increasing the nationwide rate of vaccinations will require correct education and awareness campaigns, functional packet and local packets of risk directions. propose its own long-term insurance. But at least that this all seems possible that wasn't the case when Biden took office. As the country's vaccine rollout struggling and fewer than 1 million Americans got shot a day, back then it was unclear if we could vaccinate all U.S. adults and at the end of the year. Now it now looks like Americans can get the job done in just a few months. So that's what they say, and that's going to supposed to be. And this is what's going to happen. And yeah, and here's the vaccines. Here's the coronavirus vaccines. And I gotta go eat now. I can see at least one doses. And look at this. Oh my, 10.77%. Oh my, this is this is going fast. And yes, it is. And now take a look at this in this coronavirus thing. It says we have 5,401 total cases, 76 deaths in Granville County, and total in North Carolina, totals in North Carolina, 886,000, 11,686 deaths. And yes, I think the Johnson and Johnson vaccines are coming, and it's coming right here now. I don't know, but we're gonna find out soon or now. But then, just occurred, and I'll be seeing you this Monday, same time. Have a great weekend, everybody. Love you. Bye.